Hello, everybody. My name's Shalise. Right now, everybody, I just watched Vikings Valhalla, the first Vikings spinoff of the original Vikings series from History Channel. Vikings Valhalla, let me just say this. This is a mixed bag to me. The action is great. The cinematography is pretty dang awesome. Certain CGI doesn't hold up, but either way, that's little things. Vikings Valhalla feels like a Vikings TV show. It feels so much like the original Vikings. It's just, I believe it's a very rushed job. It's a definite mixed bag for me. I don't think this is a terrible season. I don't think this is a great season. I just think it was a good season. I will give it a B-. This is not the greatest Viking show you're ever going to get. I believe if this were doing rankings of the seasons, I would say this is probably of the first season of Vikings Valhalla. I would say it's better than one season of Vikings. That'll probably be 6A, but this season of Vikings Valhalla, what it's about. After the Vikings are killed in a massacre in England, and the English king, Aethelred II, basically says, there will be no more Danes in England. We will wipe out this scourge of the Vikings in England. And what happens is, what do you expect after you do a massacre to the Vikings people? Well, they're going to decide, hey, we're going to build up an army and kill you. It's kind of the same way they got revenge for Ragnarok. They're going to build up a great army to invade England. And that's what this entire first season is. Well, I'm going to say the first season is about the invasion. Like, when I say this season is rushed, this is rushed. Because you got to understand, the entire premise for Vikings Valhalla is the end of the entire Vikings saga. It's the end of the Vikings as we know it. This takes a good 100 to 150 years after Ragnarok, after Bjorn Ironside, after Ivar the Boneless. And this is the end. And it's a very bold move for any show to have, because this show is going to run for 3 seasons and it's going to have like 8 episodes each season. And in doing so, you are setting up all these characters for a rush job. You're having a very rushed storyline of the end of the Vikings and how they're going to be totally collapsed in a sense. It's a very rushed job, Vikings Valhalla, and it didn't even need to be. You could have had, there's like 4 different storylines in season 1 alone, and they just rushed by it. And since they rushed by so much, you rush the characters, you rush side characters, you rush the entire dang storylines of relationships that don't need to be. You could develop relationships, you could develop the characters more, and when certain characters do die, the impact of their deaths is so much more impactful. Imagine Floki died in season 1. Will we care for Floki as a total character? Will we love him as much as we do for the 6 seasons he was on Vikings? No. Will we be saddened by Ragnarok Protective? We just saw him die in the first episode. The first season. Or Lakata. You got to develop characters. And I say the biggest crime for Vikings Valhalla is they develop characters, they rush the job, and certain side characters, when they're killed off, are meant to be this big, impactful moments, and they're just there for cannon fodder for the other main characters to have some depth to them, which is stupid. To me, Vikings Valhalla is just a rush job of storylines, characters, relationship between the characters, and since everything feels so rushed, everything's so crowded, what's the point of caring about certain characters, news that shows up, new characters that will show up, new characters that will die? You have no true connection to them other than like 3 characters, the most. When I talk about a rush job, the beginning starts off again with the massacre, and all Vikings are uniting. There's a couple of people. The two of the main characters are 2 siblings, Leif Erikson and Freydis. Their father was Eric the Red, who was a vicious, barbaric Viking berserker. He was banished. He was a Skurgamore. And they come over there because they have a mission of their own to find a Viking who raped Freydis and to get revenge on him. And as it turns out, so happens that they find him in the first episode. You could have developed an entire story of this. A female Viking avenging the person who raped her and put a cross on her back. That's interesting. That's something you could develop. The Greenlander characters, there's 5 or 6 of them. Don't get attached to them because most of them are cannon fodder. They feel like a family. As they said, they're from Greenland and the most they ever see is like 40 people. They are a close-knit family. They're not used to hundreds of thousands of Vikings. They're different from them. You could have had your own little Ragnar family with this group of people, but you rushed it. You rushed these characters and their story. Freydis gets her revenge in the first season. The first episode of the season. She forms a relationship with a man she starts to fall in love with throughout the entire season. We got Leif. He has one connection to this one Greenland girl, and lo and behold, y'all know where it's going to go. They rush certain characters or certain storylines. There's like maybe 6 Greenlanders with them. 2 will eventually survive at the end. I don't care if I spoil it for you, because obviously the show does not care about those side characters other than to get some depth towards the 2 main characters. It's rushing the storylines around. You could have had a Ragnar, a Lakata, a Rolla, a Floki, a Torsten, a Siggy, a Helga. You could have developed that tight-knit family. In my opinion, Vikings Valhalla should have been like Vikings Season 1 and developing a group of characters and exploring their bonds with each other. Vikings Valhalla decides to take all that out the window and decides to rush job everything. There's maybe 3-4 characters, main characters in this show. You could develop the grandson of King Farrell Finehair. You could develop Canute as a character, which he is developed. But the thing is, though, they rush his storylines with his relationship with one wife and then a relationship with another wife. Everything feels so rushed, and I believe this show, if you're going to make a Viking show for Valhalla, and it's going to be the end of the Vikings, you could do 5 seasons worth of this shit. You could do 5 seasons worth. Now, let's talk about some historical inaccuracies. And I know a lot of people are saying historical inaccuracies, but the original Viking show was never historically accurate, which is true. Ragnar and Rolla were not brothers. Was there a place called Kattegat? No, there was not. They took certain liberties. Now, in this show, they take a lot of liberties with history. Now, maybe I don't know about this, but in all of Viking TV show and sagas, a Viking is a Viking because he worships Odin. There is no such thing as a Christian Viking, unless I'm wrong about history. You can't be a Christian Viking. You can't be one without the other. Like, you can't have both. Athelstan kept changing from a Christian to a Viking to a Christian to ultimately end up being a Christian at the end. He decided to be a Christian. Vikings that convert to Christian are Christians. They just have Viking blood. And there's this whole thing about, like, them avenging, like, there's certain characters who are avenging what happened in England. Like, the Vikings are wanting revenge for what happened to their family members in England. But the thing is, though, there's Viking Christians versus Vikings. Vikings who worship Odin and Vikings who worship Jesus Christ. Then they're not Vikings. They're Christians and Vikings who just have Danish blood in them. I'm sorry, maybe I'm wrong about it. If I'm wrong, please let me know. But that to me just sounds like a very confusing time period. Another thing they have in the show, apparently Vikings would allow Christian berserkers in their lands, killing so many and growing up to a certain number that they will not take care of them themselves. This is not England when England was plagued by Viking attacks from every single corner of England. And they slowly start to get invaded and they start to get inhabited by them. This is asinine stupid to compare Vikings invading England to a couple berserkers building up an army of Christian Vikings to take on the Vikings and to destroy their utmost historical places. A sacred site that was in Viking Season 1 is destroyed by a group of Christian Vikings. Why would Vikings allow them to get on this land? It's only 100 years after the death of Bjorn Ironside and freaking Ivar the Boneless. Yeah, Kattegat is a welcome place to people. Will they have traders there? Yes. Will they have emissaries there? Yes. But you're telling me they're going to allow a full pack of rumors of berserkers who are Christian berserkers who are killing Vikings on the road? Not going to happen. Not going to happen. That's some bullshit right there writing. And then there is And people are going to say, oh, I'm racist for even mentioning this. There's this named Earl, what is it? Hokan? Her husband it was made by the same name, so it's technically not race swapping. It's just she is a black woman. In Vikings times, who is ruling Kattegat? Yes, I did not stutter. She is ruling Kattegat. Why? Why, of all things, is she ruling Kattegat? For sake, like, this ain't modern times. You're not going to give me this believable bullshit of they were so open Vikings. Here's the thing. A Viking having a black or a Chinese or a white slave, gonna happen. Them freeing them? Yes. Could I see one of them become a merchant? Any one of those people of ethnicity, could there be a person of Viking culture who's a blacksmith, who's black? Yes, I can see it. Could there be a warrior? Yes. Could there be one who it will be the leader of the capital of Vikings? Of the sagas of Ragnar Lothbrok in this fictional world? There's a certain level of believability we could accept with historical accuracies. This is not one of them. And that's no fault to the actress. The actress does a great job. I enjoy her. She's great. But it's hard to think that, yeah, that was true. And I know this show's not historically accurate, but I feel like they're just forcing diversity just to force diversity and not make it realistic. If you told me she was a shield maiden, okay. You told me she was a farmer there, yes. You told me she was a slave, yes. You told me she's a recently freed slave, yes. I can understand a lot of things, but to the ruler of the capital of Kattegat and everybody to respect her? They're like, oh, well, we respected your husband, so we respect you. It doesn't work the same way. It does not work the same way. Lagertha had to earn her spot to be a leader. Aslog, she married Ragnar Lothbrok, the husband. Did everyone like her? Hell no. But you see, there's a believability factor. I'm sorry, I just don't believe Vikings were that forward-thinking in modern times when literally 100 years ago, they were literally burning Christians to the depths, and apparently they allowed this black Viking woman who's very belief in the old gods to be the ruler of Kattegat. Okay, yeah, they're that very progressive. What a load of bullshit. And I know I'm ranting more about the show, but there are some good things. The action scenes are good. The actors do all a great job. The storylines, what's there, when they're not rushing through everything, it's very solid. You have so much potential with this show. You could have 5 seasons worth in this one season. Frades, her character, first episode, she wants revenge of the person who raped her and marked her. She gets revenge, even though she found him very fucking quick in the first episode. And then what? Like the second, third episode, she goes to the famous Viking, Uppsala. She goes there and she's immediately meets the Ancient One. He immediately has a destiny for her. She's immediately in charge. She's trained by the Shield Maidens in episode 4 and 5, and then in episode 7, she's already giving orders in Kattegat, where she's just been there. I'm sorry. What bullshit am I watching? This is just a rush storyline. There are great characters. There are great storylines. The actors do a good job. The action is good. It's just they're rushing everything for no good reason. Vikings Valhalla, it's a good show. It's not a terrible show. But it will never be great to me. Because if they're just going to do 3 seasons worth, and if the first season is any like the future seasons, I feel like it's going to be, because they rush so much storylines in season 1. They're going to rush season 2. They're going to rush season 3. And ultimately, at the end of the day, my opinion is not going to change about Vikings Valhalla. Potential, it has. Great scenes, I'm not going to lie. Great cinematography, not going to lie. Great music choices, yes. Some good to great characters, yes. But they waste a lot of characters. I mean, there's certain scenes where there's literally a character, he's killed off. Because I'm losing my train of thought because I'm so frustrated with certain scenes about this show. How they try to make it believable. A guy's plotting to overthrow another king, and he's with his advisor and all this stuff, and they swore an allegiance. And then when the guy runs away, or not runs away, a guy golds him into a horse race, and they go to a horse race, and apparently he just happens to hit this one small inch of rope that the horse could have just gone the other way or any way around he could have rode. But he had to get specifically the middle of the rope. The horse will get spooked. The guy's going to fall and he's going to hurt himself. And it was a scheme to get rid of this person. Yeah. I wonder what happened if he decided not to race. If he decided not to. Nah, I ain't going to race today. What would you do then? And what would you do if he goes to the right or to the left? But no, he gets the specific middle part. There's some logic to this show that's just utterly frustrating to me. Vikings Valhalla, again, it's a good show, but there's a lot of moments that made me just facepalm my head. And I gotta be honest with you, if the first season's ending like the other future seasons we're gonna get, I'm not going to care for the show. It has so much potential. It has so much. There's so much here that reminds me of Vikings, of the original show. And there's such characters that could develop into characters I could love and like. I could love Frades a lot more. I could love Harold's grandson a lot more. I could love Leif Erikson. I could love him a lot more. But they rush certain storylines with these characters. And when you rush certain things and when you kill certain people off close to those people, why should I care? Why should I care for when these characters are going through when you're literally rushing everything down in under 8 episodes? I would say the best explanation for Vikings Valhalla will be one character is like a simple poor farmer. Like, look at Ragnar Lothbrok. Imagine Ragnar Lothbrok became farmer to Earl and King in one season. Not gonna happen. It's just rushed. And that's what I say about Vikings Valhalla. It's a rushed job, and it did not deserve to be. It deserved to take its time to develop its story, to develop its characters, but ultimately, at the end of the day, it's just, to me, in some cases, disappointing, but not shockingly, how it was disappointing. So, what's your personal opinion, everybody? What you all think of Vikings Valhalla? Do you think it was a great season of Vikings? Do you think it was a great season on its own for a first starter? Do you think there will be more seasons added than to 3 seasons? Do you think they should have rushed everything in 8 episodes? Do you think they should have 10, 15 episodes? Please let me know what y'all think, everybody. My name's Elise, and I offered to everybody. Bye.